Welcome everyone to our last event of Global Entrepreneurship Week, except for one more, I'm sorry, next to last, penultimate. We have one more at 4:30. This is BizPitch. Rural Center for Entrepreneurial Facilitation is going to be having a wonderful pitch competition for y'all with feedback provided to the people presenting their business ideas. Like I said, this is something that I look forward to all week. I love hearing about people's business ideas and getting a chance to encourage and celebrate them. So this will be a lot of fun. There is one event after this at 4:30 put on by the Better Business Bureau called Better Customer Service Starts with Trust. It's a great interactive workshop that they've done for us a couple of times. And each year they go in and they search their database for the different kinds of mistakes that people have made, the complaints that they hear from people, and then they turn them into real world examples and scenarios for you to work through to improve your customer service skills. So great for everybody, entrepreneurs and anybody that works in customer service. So pleasure to see everybody. So excited. Holly and Brian from RCEF will take it over from here.
Well, welcome. And Yvonne, thank you so much for all of your legwork and everything that you've done for this entire event and all week long. Super exciting. It seriously does take champions on both sides of the fence. So again, thank you for all of the legwork. It does not go unnoticed. Obviously, our community, and I'm going to brag about you, is truly blessed to have people like you and a number of the other folks that are online right now that will be giving feedback. And so I can't thank those people enough. I think our community strongly backs our entrepreneurs in many, many ways. And this is just one of those pieces of the pie, if you will, that really helps you vet out your idea. And BizPitch was really created for that. Eventually, everybody will end up in front of a banker, a lender of some sorts. And this is to kind of help them really refine their idea, their message, and ultimately their business plan if they take it that far, in order for them to really give their to get their message across and the passion and what they want to do. So again, I compliment everyone. This is not always easy. Entrepreneurs are truly heroes in my eyes. They're the ones that are putting everything on the line to follow their passion and their dream. So again, look in the mirror, compliment yourself. You're one more step closer to where you want to be. Holly, I'm very blessed to have in the office that actually keeps everything going. So she's going to be, along with Yvonne, will be sort of coordinating the time, the clock, and kind of how everything flows. And so just so you know, we have a number of people that are going to be doing it, which is great. We'll make time for everyone. So you have roughly about 5 minutes to pitch, and then about 5 minutes for feedback, give or take a few minutes. So again, with that, without further ado, let's jump into it. Holly, do you have anything to add?
Just that I'll be running the timer, 5 minutes, as Brian mentioned, and it'll probably make a ding or something so you know when time's up. And then we'll go to feedback, and the feedback will be about 5 minutes as well. Just try and keep on schedule. So.
Perfect. So if anyone, again, Yvonne had mentioned, if anyone has slides, anything to show, she'll assist with administering that. So I think our first one is going to be William. I did just send him a quick note because I don't see him on. Holly, do you see him?
I do not.
Okay. We could shoot to Brandy. Would you like to kick it off, Brandy?
Sure, I'll take a stab at it. Just let me know when.
It's all yours. Take a big deep breath and jump in.
All right, thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Brandy Mackey. I'm an electrical engineer and currently pursuing a Master's of Science in the Experiential Education program here at MSU. And I'm also an aspiring entrepreneur. And here's my idea. So we are living in a customer service age in industry. Like Yvonne mentioned, the Better Business Bureau and improving customer service is a thing that we want to do. Have you ever gone to a restaurant, not very busy, sat down only to wait for 10 to 15 minutes for your server to come to your table? Have you ever gone to get takeout for your family and not until you get home you realize not all of the items you bought and purchased are in your bag? This happens too often, and many times the customer feels powerless to do anything about it. Enter the feedback app. So the feedback app gives the customer the power to easily give feedback to the service business. It's one app that a customer can use to provide feedback in an easy manner. And not only that, but they get rewarded for the feedback that they provide. Oftentimes, maybe you've taken a flight and you receive an email and they're asking for you to fill out a survey, or you get your receipt and it says, go to this website and we want to hear your feedback. Oftentimes, you don't get anything in return for your time to fill out those forms or surveys. In this way, it's one app that you can use for any business, and it's very easy to use and give your feedback, and the rewards are desirable. Our mission is to become the most popular way that customers deliver feedback to companies. And we have 5 values. The customer is number 1. The service industry exists to provide service to customers, so the customer should be number 1. Continuous improvement. We believe that we can never stop improving. Everyone should have a voice. We believe not only should they have a voice, but that voice should be heard. And data. We believe that data is what we should use to base our decisions on. And finally, we believe in treating people right. We believe that employees should be treated right and customers should be treated right. So with the feedback app, we hope to accomplish all of those values. Finally, there are 3 different types of users for the feedback app. And here I've just listed them all. Ultimately, the customer, they have the app on their phone. It's free to use, easy to use. And that this app gives them the power to have a say in the service that they're receiving, whether it's poor service and they want something done about it and they want to see change, or maybe it's really good service and they want to give kudos to that service provider. They can do that. And not only do they do that, but they are able to get rewarded for it. So that's the customer. Then we have the business. Actually, I'll jump to the employee. Then the employee of the service company, the service provider, is also using it. It gives them pointed feedback as to how they can improve their skills and abilities. So this allows them to grow and excel in their position, because ultimately the employee wants to earn more money. So this helps them get that pointed feedback and understand how they can grow their own skills and hopefully earn more. And then finally, there's the business. This app will allow the business to get more of that data and do their experience management on which they can base their decisions on how to change and improve their company. And it can also provide talent management. So we know that it's cheaper to retain employees than to constantly get new ones. And so this can help them understand what the customers are saying about the employees and help them to deliver tailored tracks of skill improvement for their employees. So thank you for listening to that idea. It's the feedback app, free for everyone to use, and it's aiming at ultimately making the customer service experience a better place for customers and helping employees improve their skills and abilities and ultimately make more money, and then helping businesses get pointed feedback, a lot more feedback than they're currently getting, and ultimately earn a greater profit in doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you. Okay, so again, all of our folks that have been so generous with their time, you can certainly jump in anytime and give some feedback. All I would ask is that you introduce yourself first, and then jump in and give feedback. Yvonne, you certainly can as well. So any and all of them. I guess my first question on that is, so why did you create this? Did you have an experience?
Yes, I've had many experiences and continue to have them, but it was a really bad experience at an airport restaurant, and it wasn't busy, and we sat down, and the server came late, and she actually said, well, the kitchen doesn't open. We won't change to our lunch menu for 10 more minutes. So you're going to have to wait 10 minutes before I take your order. And just thing after thing kept happening. And I just felt like, am I seriously paying for this? And this idea popped into my head, and it continues to pop into my head as I talk with more and more people about their experience with service companies. It's just, I feel like we need to have some type of feedback loop.
Cool. I'm Brian Machi, the president at Lime Valley Advertising, and I'm really interested in this. I think it's a really great idea. I'm wondering a little bit about, well, I guess two things for you, Brandy. The number one is, how do you integrate that across those three, that customer, that business, that employee? How does everybody get on board? Do you have to market it to maybe the business, or do you see it more as a customer driven, where the customers are only going to go to businesses that have, you know, the app that's used, it's an extra for them? So how do you plan on integrating that? And then the other one is, have you thought about the value that you could provide the business then as maybe an additional revenue stream in creating some training modules for them, for their employees?
Right. Thank you, Brian. So the plan to integrate what it is now is that it's an app that you can use at any business, but if you're a business and you want access to that information the customers are providing, that's when the business purchases the service. So once they do that, they get their own dashboard that highlights all of the feedback. And yes, that there are numerous companies doing different parts and pieces of what this app would provide. Some are just talent management companies, and they work with companies on improving the skills. Some only provide feedback from customers. So this would take the feedback and, yes, create customized training modules or tracks that an employee could go into their app on their dashboard and say, geez, I'm really bad on my timeliness. And that's what is being focused, that's what it's directing me to. So if that employee goes to that and goes through that learning module, hopefully the feedback from the customers would show an improvement. And then the employee would also earn rewards for going through those modules as well.
Thank you.
I'm Yvonne Caribou from the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Nice presentation, Brandy. I love your storytelling, and I love how passionate you are about what you're doing. That's awesome. I wanted to mention that there's an app that you might look at. It's called Marvel app. Marvel app is a tool for non-programmers to use to model their app that they're thinking about creating before you program. So you can actually like make little graphics, and then you can make them programmable, and then you can show your app to a customer without you having to program anything. And it would be a great help to your programmers and save you a lot of money. So it's called marvelapp.com. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Any other feedback? Brandy, great presentation. Good job. You've obviously had a little bit of time in front of a Zoom camera, so congratulations on that. I thought it was a splendid presentation, so nice job. Our next one is going to be, and I'm really hoping I pronounce this correctly, Halima. Nora, that would be for you. And you'll need to unmute.
Hi, this is Halima Jamal.
How are
And
you?
good, how about you?
Just fine. Nice to see you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. And everybody have to know, because my English is not perfect, so I have a broken English, so yeah. And the idea I have, I'm just kind of new for the business, and we have a large community in Mankato, and just I'm trying to open a wholesale for West and East African and Asian food wholesale in Mankato. We usually have regular groceries, but those groceries, they have to go far from Mankato. Sometimes they have to go to the city, sometimes they have to go in Chicago to get those foods for their regular stores. But I'm trying to open just Mankato downtown. So
Did
I think we lost her.
you lose him, Holly?
I think so.
Must have pushed the wrong button. That's easy to do.
Okay, so when they pop back on, we'll help them out. Let's go to the next one, and that would be, I believe, David.
All right.
And David, we would, so this was, we may have more than one, but I think this is David Robinson.
Okay.
And David,
Robinson.
you'll need to unmute. David Robinson, can you unmute your system? There you go. The floor is yours, and you have about 5 minutes.
All right, thanks. Well, I kind of follow through with, I already like Halima's idea. Greetings and thanks. Yeah, David Robertson. I grew up in the Winnebago area, all right? But Fairmont was always a hub. You know, the Redwood, you know, finally got able to drive, come to the movie theaters. And then the last few years, actually helping work on your streets and so forth with A1 Concrete. So actually feel a little bit part of the community, you know, thanks to everybody. So with that being said, here we go. You know, we seem to be in a system, our currency is kind of up and down, back, down, back, whatever. So maybe until it's remedied, I hung around some of the Amish a few years back through my escapades the last few years, and maybe work, maybe our work, bartering things, trade, share, in unpredictable times. Some of the things do stay the same, and I boldly, I guess, would say, that be Jesus, food, booze, drugs, like it or not. All right. So I'd like to talk about any of those in detail, but let me stay focused. Okay. Small rural farming communities been constantly hit hard in the last 40 decades. Big chemical, Bayer, Cargill, big pharmacy, trying to implement synthetic drugs instead of natural stuff. Big tech, bad info, bigger not always better, right? So growing and replicating a system of maybe growing our own food, it's kind of my idea. I've been doing that most of my life as a farmer, and that's what's leading specifically here in Martin County. How can specifically do that? So I guess going along with the other part of excuse me, my idea is here we just hear about at midnight another temporary shutdown, right? Better stock up on the toilet paper, maybe possibly food again, right? Shortages coming our way. More empty buildings here in Fairmont, possibly more mom and pop and new entrepreneurs like me and Helena and Brandy and everybody else. Maybe some grim hopes because of this. Is it all in jeopardy? That's maybe a question for all of us. So how do we pull together and pull through? So my idea, I've been a farmer and everything, and I've been involved in indoor growing crops as well, off and on in the last 4 decades. But right now, aquaculture, in particularly controlled raising of fish and shrimp, in particular, is what I'm looking at in temporary or permanent troughs in a controlled indoor environment. And nothing new. My goal is to add plants on top of that, like through hydroponics. Establish a co-op. Helena, what do you need us to grow, Helena? What type of fish you need? What type of plants you need for these, for this Asian market before she got cut off? Okay. So my goal of being self-sustaining, and helping people. And let's establish some type of co-op. Get the community involved, like community gardens or whatever. You can put so much time for so many pounds of vegetables, whatever. Anyway, to continue on, I guess to make use of some of the idle property, maybe some of the buildings as well as outbuildings, during the growing season. Start teaching kids since they're cooped up. Can't go to school. Maybe it's an opportunity to give some learning lessons that way with our plants. So there's my pitch for like in the city, but also with the farmers. I'm still represent Grabowski Nurseries, which is a farming family here in Martin County, and part of their pitch to me, they have buildings that they made available now. Okay, you get the financing and everything to let me convert. Offer hey, we'll give you the buildings if you can come up with the equipment, come up with the, converting things over to aquaculture, hydroponics. We're all in. And I guess what encourages me in that way of, I think I have read with the USDA now, aquaculture, a lot of smaller things like this qualify for grant, small interest funding, and so forth like that. Now, I haven't been able to do a lot of that research. I just spoke with Brian yesterday and tried to keep most of my thoughts together. But that's basically my pitch. These empty buildings, with the threat of losing them, or we could put control environments, and if they didn't want to make it permanent, like until the pandemic, this Chinese pandemic being over or whatever, then we could go back retrofitting whatever. Along with this, now what I'd like to share is here. There's a number of things that come along with that. Supply shops, getting the supplies and the materials needed for growing. Help letting people, let's establish it so people have somewhat ownership. So they could come in and we help them can their vegetables, help them butcher their fish. Maybe in the summertime, get back to butchering chickens. I heard this morning on the farm report, the farmers are looking for a new use of grain. We'll take the GMO out, or no new use of corn. Take the GMO out. We'll use the corn to feed the fish and the shrimp. Here's a chance for us each. Where with the possible shortages, we can have real homegrown, all organic, really good crop, vegetables, fish, whatever we want to grow. We can grow whatever. All right. And I have had, and this is where the kids from the university or whatever, there's got to be stuff like this going on. I hear all the younger kids coming up that the other gal mentioned in MSU, and even the meetings of the sophomores and seniors. Hey, all summer long, there's things that could be like on the community-owned properties of community gardens, helping older people with, help them do their gardens, whatever. My main goal,
sorry to interrupt, David. That's time's up.
Okay.
No problem.
We couldn't hear the buzzer, Holly.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry.
So there you go, people. There's my idea. And I'm sorry about Halima. Like I say, I just need, we just need a list of her vegetables,
So if I can just recapitulate that a little bit, because I just needed to make sure that I kind of got a grip of it. Are you talking about indoor aquaculture and hydroponics?
Right. All already established. A lot of aquaculture that I've been around, it's just been like the fish, different types of fish, shrimp, stuff like that. And the last decade, especially, when I was working out west, starting to implement hydroponics on top of it.
Sure. So in an environment like this, I think that's great. Obviously, repurposing these buildings, Mankato is certainly not a stranger to vacant buildings and small towns as well. So if that's the direction that you're going, I think that's a great idea. Just very briefly, within about 30 seconds, what is the viability? How soon can you scale something like that?
Who's got the building in town? I got $20,000 of equipment that I got to go home for Christmas, or if they'll let us travel, I'll bring it back and throw in. I'll keep working, to try to support myself for a prototype deal. I know junkyard people, we can get recycled stuff to build troughs. Not within a week, you could be up and running.
Yeah, no, I think that's very interesting, David. And I'm sure you've probably followed. We're raising shrimp now in Minnesota, west here a little bit, and it started in a vacant high school, and they're very successful.
What I'd like to also do with that vacant high school is my heart is not homeless, but the 17 and under. My wife and I were involved with foster care for many years, and
so,
adopted two of them.
I don't mean to interrupt, but let's get a little bit of feedback.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for your passion.
Thanks, man.
Any other thoughts?
Just a couple of things to add. David, I don't know if you can see in the chat, but I've done a lot of research into aquaponics and the kind of thing you're talking about. There's 3 links there that might help you. The Good Food Revolution is out of in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and they've done what you're doing, and they help take troubled kids and do work like that. And then there's some aquaponics companies that were started and failed, so you might learn from them. But if you use those links, might help. But more power to you. Yeah,
and hopefully through all this, everybody giving a presentation. Yeah, we need to work together. Coordinate all this stuff. That's why I'm excited about this. Thank you. Thanks.
That's a great presentation, David. I really, again, I'm a huge proponent for repurposing vacant buildings. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump back to Halima. Are you back on for us? And you'll have
Yes.
to unmute. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We lost your connection.
Yeah, I'm back. So, yeah, the idea I have already, I got the building, this Mankato downtown. Almost, I have it right now, like 4 months, and it's nothing working out, but just I'm trying. So, I'm not giving up, but it's not easy. So, it's kind of getting harder and harder. But, you know, just I want to fight back and trying to be open very soon. I have like barking issue with the city of Mankato. Just they telling me you have to build a barking here. You have a land in like open vacant land there. And it's not easy for me, but just I'm trying, and I think I can make it, and I'm keep going it, and I have to make it, like, you know, those customers I see there for potential, like I can make it happening, like to make a Mankato, like the wholesale in Mankato, to get those customers needs for to shop and make it their transport like less than what they afford to pay right now, going back and forth. And if we got like a big wholesale in Mankato for Asian, and anyways, most of the Mankato community actually not like, you know, and it's not like something I'm giving up, but also needs to be more that what he's talking about, David, right now, for chicken, a fish, goat. We need all those to be get in locally, like closer to Mankato in Minnesota. That's what I was thinking in my mind for a long time. But right now, I'm going, and I think it's gonna be, I'm gonna make it happen. So, but it's not easy for me. So it's just tough, and it's a COVID-19 here. Everything is just closing down, but you know, I'm okay with it. So I'm not giving up. But that's the idea I have. And if you guys, anyone has better idea than my idea, if you're gonna give me advice, I'm gonna be appreciated for you guys. So.
Well, Halima, this is Brian. And again, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I apologize if I'm not.
Yeah.
I think you disappeared again. Oh, there you are.
Yes, I'm back.
So
sorry.
Is this actually wholesale food, or is this more of a grocery store?
I want to do it a wholesale. Wholesale.
So it's kind of bulk?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you mean bulk, so the fix that you're trying to do is to prevent folks from having to drive to the Twin Cities to get the type of food that they're comfortable with. Is that correct?
Yeah, and going far, even not only 20 cities. We usually go get it in Chicago.
Wow.
So, but yeah.
And so they would buy in bulk from you?
Yeah, if I have it in Mankato, yes, it is.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm fully understanding the wholesale part, but that's okay. I really think I think it's a great idea, because it comes down to supply and demand. And I hear that a lot of that the Mankato area does not provide or has not filled that need for some of those specialty items.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Halima, this is Yvonne.
Mhm.
You know what I love about your presentation? Your sense of sticking to it. That,
Yeah.
you know, whatever obstacles there are, you're going to figure them out. I think that's a wonderful quality in a businesswoman. So hats off to you. And I'd love to talk to you more about your project. You know, one of the things that I wanted to ask is, do you see yourself selling to restaurants and to other businesses, catering companies, more than to individual families?
Yes, even, more, for individual families than supplies for the rest of the stores in Mankato and restaurants, even,
Okay. Got it.
Halima, this is Brian Machi from Lime Valley Advertising. And I'd like to offer you a little bit of suggestion for as you're planning your business, because it sounds like you've got a really good idea of your market. It sounds like nobody's going to know that product as good as you. You know exactly what your audience wants, and that's excellent. I'm going to suggest that in addition to looking at a storefront or a retail or wholesale type of environment, that you also make your products available online. We saw a lot of businesses really hurt over the past 8 months in this pandemic because they didn't have an adequate online presence. And so that really hurt their sales. So as you're going ahead and planning your business, I think an online component, at least to make your audiences know what you have available. Maybe they could even place an order online.
Yes.
And you don't have to worry. The beauty of that is you don't even have to worry about programming that anymore, because there's third-party softwares that we see a lot of grocery retailers using, like Instacart, for example. That's already done for you. So you just have a matter of populating your products in there. And I think that it's going to give your business maybe some sustainability in times when we're forced through executive orders or just through health precautions to not visit an actual storefront.
Yes.
I don't know if I can go really quickly, if that's okay. So I'm West African, so I can 100% relate. I'm from Nigeria. And it makes a lot of sense what you're saying, because right now I do buy my food wholesale, but I go to Restaurant Depot. So if we have something like that in Mankato, there'll be no need for me to go to Restaurant Depot. And a lot of people actually shop that way, a lot of Africans I know. And right now in Mankato, the African stores are like monopolies because nobody else does it. And nobody else does it because they don't have access to the food. The one question I do have for you though is, where have you thought about where you're going to get your food supplies from? And for special things like gari, cassava for Africans, or like fufu, those ones that are really specifically for African or like Asian market, where are you getting those supplies from?
I have to be connection with those big companies too. Yes. Yep. Almost I got the connection for most of the big companies.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Halima.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much. Our next one is going to be Naeem.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure to listen to everyone's ideas. Let me share my screen. Give me a moment. Can everyone see it? All right. So my idea is to create a platform where people from around the world can come together and bank on each other. So The name of the company is Linden, and the problem I'm trying to solve is that we have 2 billion unbanked people around the world who cannot access traditional financial systems. We don't see this often in America, but there is around 40 million people still in America who are technically unbanked. And the reason the 2 billion people can't access the systems is that there is a barrier to entry. If you take countries like where I come from, Bangladesh, for example, like we have credit scoring systems over here, like FICO, TransUnion, and Experian, there is no credit scoring system in the entire country. And that creates problem for barrier to entry because banks requires outdated screening models. And their credit assessments are not for the regular type of people. The bank penetration in Bangladesh, if I take just one country for an example, is 28%, and it's a country of 170 million people. It's, by the way, it's smaller than Minnesota in terms of size. So it's a small country with a big population, but not enough financial inclusion. And right now we are incorporated in Minnesota, and we did launch a pilot program in Bangladesh, but we're still developing our system. And that's the problem we're trying to solve, is to create a platform, not to compete with banks and other institutions, but to have a platform, a place where lenders can come together, individuals can come together and bank on each other. So the solution for that is to create a global platform. We have already started working on creating the platform. It's a peer-to-peer lending platform connecting borrowers and lenders from both ends. So somebody from United States can invest $100, and we're going to take that $100, diversify it, and invest in different peer-to-peer loans around the world. We also are building a credit scoring system, which is based on entirely alternative data, such as psychometric assessment, digital footprints, mobile data, and social media data. So we haven't gotten to the part where we are actually dealing with mobile data or social media data as of now, but we have created a psychometric assessment, which includes personality traits, time delay of accounting, locus of control, and other metrics that we use to determine one's creditworthiness. One other part of the platform is a savings product. So around the world, even in America, like Roscas or village associations, come together and save with each other, friends and families. So the idea behind that savings product is to also create a digital platform. We are not technically going to be administering it. We're just going to do the accounting side of it. So it's free for users at the user end. So we're not going to charge them for it, but we're just going to manage their accounting systems so that they can invite friends and they can save with each other and have all their digital records in a ledger. So they can have that information available to them all the time. So that's the solution. And the market size for this is, according to a study by McKinsey Global Institute and another study by Forbes, is a $100 trillion market for the unbanked by 2050. It's a very big market that we are talking about. And that's all around the world. Most of it comes from South Asia. And that's why my first plan to launch the model, even though we are incorporated in Minnesota right now, my first target is to launch in Bangladesh. And we have already launched a pilot program there. But we need to get to that 200 borrowers loans first to actually have enough data for our credit scoring system. We're around 7 loans right now. So even though our platform is not ready, and that's based on a paper version. Now to come to how we are supposed to make money, how the platform is supposed to make money. So we're going to charge a 5% loan origination fees on the peer-to-peer lending platform. So any borrower that collects the fees, we're going to take 5% loan origination fees from that entire loan amount. Another way we'll earn money, the company will make money, is we're going to outsource our scoring system, credit scoring system, to traditional financial institutions so that they can use that. And we're going to charge a 2% flat rate on that. And how this will work is, imagine a bank, and we have gotten in talks with several banks back in Bangladesh, as well as in Minnesota as well. So how this will work is we're going to give them our credit scoring model, just like how FICO works. So you have those credit scores, the lenders will have access to that credit scores, and they can use the credit score to lend. If they even have in-house systems for their credit assessment, they can use that as a complement for that. And as well as interest rates from the company, from the loans that the company personally funds. So like I mentioned, we have already funded around 7 loans. Those are all $50 micro loans. And to people who are basically unbanked. They do not have a bank account. They cannot get loans from a bank. So we're trying to get those unbanked people as our users first.
Sorry, Naeem, the time is up.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about it. Yeah. How do I cancel it? Stop share. All right. Yeah, thank you. So that was the idea. I did have a couple of slides, but I'm sorry, I couldn't manage it in time.
Yeah, no problem. Well, first, I'd like to compliment you on that. It never ceases to amaze me, the ideas that come up, the situations, the problems that people try to solve. That some of those stats were amazing. So help me understand. What's the return on investment to people that are borrowing or loaning the money rather?
All right. So based on studies of peer-to-peer lending sites around the world, for India, taking India example, and I did have a slide where I talk about some peer-to-peer lending companies in the United States like LendingTree, Kiva, or Prosper. So the basic average around the world of these returns is around 25% a year.
Okay. All right. Again, if just for the sake of time, just try to keep everything as brief as you can. Mm-hmm. So what stumbling blocks have you run into?
So right now I do have a team and we're working remotely around the world. The stumbling blocks that I've run into is actually financing that first 200 loans. That's the amount of loans that we need to finance to actually have enough data to actually have our credit scoring system set up. So we are getting traction. We have around, for our pre-launch, we have around 500 signups, more than 500 signups. But our stumbling block right now is those 200 first initial loans. That will get us that traction. We do have traction for borrowers. We haven't opened our lender side of things. But right now we are focusing on that first 200 loans, which will get our credit scoring system all running up and set.
So from a marketing aspect, is this kind of word of mouth or how is this getting out?
Okay, so we do have various customer acquisition channels. We are focusing on content marketing. That's just one side of it. We partnered with Bikash. It's a sister concern of BRAC. BRAC is the largest NGO in the world, and Bikash is a mobile banking platform. So we did partner with them, and we are trying to partner with various NGOs in Bangladesh as well, so that we can reach those marginalized people. So we do have a few customer acquisition channels.
And is there software or something that is assisting you to track?
You mean borrowers?
Well, right. So in essence, you're playing the role of the bank.
Correct.
And these loans can be for several years out, I'm assuming?
No, so right now we're focusing only on microloans. So not home loans, not auto loans, just personal microloans.
So how soon does the person have to pay it back?
Right now, every loan that we have funded, those $50 loans, those 7 loans, we have done it for a month. So we are basically planning to do 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and a 12-month period, 10 years.
I understand now. Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
This is Brian Machi from Lime Valley Advertising. I have to compliment you on the presentation slides. They're really, really well done. For somebody like myself, that's not particularly acclimated to the financial market, I was led through infographics that you had created that really made me kind of understand it a little bit. I love the name of your company. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, so Lendan is actually a Bengali word, or you can call it a Sanskrit word. It basically means to transact.
Okay, really, really creative and sounds very accurate as well. Congratulations! It sounds like you've really got a great start.
Thank you.
This is Yvonne. I liked your tagline very much too. Like Brian, I was admiring your marketing acumen, that you already have. That's very cool.
Thank you.
I sent you a link to consider the high tech division for Big Ideas Challenge.
Right.
You also might want to apply for Minnesota Cup. One of the ways that you might find some funding for your business, and this is for everybody on here who is pitching today, in addition to the amazing prize today, you can win some prizes with more zeros in them from larger competitions like Minnesota Cup and some others. And I have a whole list of them I'm happy to provide to anybody that would like it.
Thank you so much, Yvonne.
Okay. Well, Naeem, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think our next one is going to be Jared. And if we could get him unmuted, and Holly, start the timer.
Okay.
All right, am I on?
You are.
Thank you, thank you. Presentations before this were fantastic. Wow, I'm kind of just blown away. My name is Jared Dimare. I live in New Ulm, and my current full-time job is I'm a network maintenance technician for Xfinity Comcast, and so that's kind of my 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Along with that, over the past year, just a quick background on me is that I had some pretty hard life changes happen, and I was looking for something to be creative with and to do stuff with my family, with my kids. And I started making candles and soaps and making good old-fashioned bars of soap from natural products using sodium hydroxide, which is lye, cold process. And I just really enjoyed the whole process of this and creating this finished product. And I love doing it with my kids, of course. That part was fun, but there was just something that just spoke to me a little bit deeper while doing this process. And I was like, there's more to this. There's all these essential oils. How do these oils all act with each other? Why is natural soap better than your Dove or your Irish Spring or, a lot of the big name commercial soaps that you can buy at the Walmarts and the Walgreens and Targets and whatnot. And so I started researching a lot of that. So long story short, I got into handcrafted all natural soap, and there's obviously some very artsy soaps out there. And what I've discovered is being able to control the types of ingredients that go in is what nourishes our skin as we clean. I went from using, buying the big bottles of lotion at the store to I don't buy lotion at all. And that to me was a significant thing. We're in an age where we've got to wash all the time. We've got to stay clean just to avoid anything from the cold, flu to now COVID. And so we're washing a lot and our skin's undergoing a lot of stress. And I'm an outdoorsman. I like natural, pretty much everything. I like to eat right and exercise and take good care of my body. So creating natural soaps just falls in line with my life philosophy with that. I have had the pleasure to work with Jim Jensen and Brian Matchey from Lime Valley with some of this. And if I can come over here, the lighting was really bad, so I moved to the other side, but that's just a small group of some of the things that I have made. And I've got some gift boxes back here that I've put together for the holidays. some of my obstacles have been marketing, developing an online presence, which right now I'm working with a company to create an e-commerce store that is gonna more customize and simplify the customer experience, the checkout, the buying experience online. Showing up face-to-face at craft fairs has been phenomenal. I've only been able to do like 3 because, you know, a little bit small community, but along with COVID, a lot of things have shut down and slowed down. And I've had phenomenal success with those and a lot of repeat customers from that. So I'm very confident with my product and how it acts with people. The other thing would be, once I get that situated, would be my goals are to, I've pretty much finalized a label, which I'm really happy with, to reach out to local vendors, wholesale, natural food stores, men's clothing stores, and kind of just have some exclusive stores around the area where I can present and sell my soaps, possibly my candles as well, through their storefronts to begin with, and eventually be able to hopefully grow to the point where I want to get my own space where I can produce at a larger volume. And I'm not so much looking for the storefront, but if there becomes a large demand, I wouldn't ignore growing in that direction either. And I just kind of jumped into this presentation today, so I'm doing the best from the hip right now. But it is a passion, and I really love doing it. I really love the fact that I can sell something to the public that I believe in, that I know where it comes from. Kind of like you know, buying our crops and our beef and everything locally, and just knowing where all that comes from, it means something to us. And I just like to be a part of that with my community and just public at large.
Okay, thanks, Jared.
Yeah, thank you.
Ryan, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. It's always got to be somebody, right? Well, you've got a great start working with Brian and Jim. I think that's fantastic. And I got to compliment you. You know, sharing your passion with your family, being able to do that with your kids and everyone else, that's truly what's going to help keep you up at 1 o'clock in the morning when you're trying to fulfill orders, which we all hope you have a lot. And you are in the land of hand soap right now. So good Lord, you could be on every street corner right now. So congratulations on that. I am kind of curious. So you've discovered that you don't have to have hand lotion now for dry skin?
No, pretty much non-existent. I actually do make a lotion bar where I just use a little bit of beeswax, cocoa butter, mango butter, and some olive oil. And then it just hardens into a bar. And I just use that for like my hands or maybe a dry elbow, or it's just kind of a spot where lather up the hands with lotion and up and down both arms and legs and everything just to feel ready for the day. And so no, I've cut that out.
So I'm sure Brian is helping you, but how are you doing this online since storefronts are challenged?
Some of the things that we've talked about. So I spent some time over at Lime Valley and worked with one of his employees there for just learning how to do some photoshopping, how to do some different setup to create that touch and feel kind of presence online, which is really hard to do. I mean, when people show up and they can smell the soap and touch the soap, you know, then they're like, wow, they can just really feel the product. To create that presence online is hard. So that was one thing that we did. And then we talked about kind of using Google Ads and pinpointing different markets and marketing that way. Which I've done a couple trials with, and I've gotten some traffic to the existing site that I have, which is going to be going away. It's going to be getting replaced really soon here. But I haven't had any closure with sales from those advertisements. So it just, that was kind of the failure that I needed, the learning. I got this philosophy that you either win or you learn. So it's really not failure. It's more of, hey, I'm getting this traffic, but nobody's buying. And so I was able to get some friends and family to go to my website and just give me some real honest feedback. And they felt that the whole checkout process was just really frustrating. And I kind of felt that way too. So I just need to, and now I'm getting that website developed that's gonna just have a far more streamlined experience for the customer to be able to go, hey, I can mix and match and pick multiple products to get a discount and have free shipping and have quality products.
Hey, Jared, this is Yvonne. I'm going to tap into the university connection. And you were saying that you're a real outdoors person, that you like things that are natural, you know, that kind of thing. And then I was thinking also about your marketing, you know, of this. And it's so hard, you know, person by person, customer by customer, to grow something, you know, even online. And there's so many competitors for soaps and things like that. So here's an idea. Parks and Rec department at MSU has, you know, a bunch of graduates that are all going to be graduating here pretty soon in December, a couple weeks. And then we've got another set, you know, every semester there's sets of students that are graduating in that department. Perhaps finding organizations like that are struggling to come up with something cool, something tangible that they can send to their students and say, hey, congratulations, but that wouldn't be incredibly expensive. You know, what if you did a half-size bar that was MSU colored or branded or wrapped or something, you know, that could be sent out to Parks and Rec with that story attached to it of, this would be great when you're outdoors camping. This would be great when you're outdoors biking, you know, even having branded bars, like this is your bar for bikers. This is your bar for campers. You know, this really helps get rid of some charcoal to get rid of the wood smell, you know? So, anyway, just an idea that, you know, you have to find your own like unique way in, right? And the other thing I'm thinking about too is that you need to be able to produce a bunch and sell a bunch to kind of make it worth your time. And if you can get a large order, I think that it would be better than just, you know, onesie twosies.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Jared, are you, do you have your story on your label or on the back of your soap package?
No, I don't. I'm not able to fit all that on there. I have the name of the soap, which is pretty much the scent of it, the size of the bar, the ingredients, and my website and business contact information.
So I would really, really encourage you to somehow condense your story of something for the back of your soap. And here's why. We have a huge promotion right now. A lot of the radio stations are picking up. It's called Made Local, Buy Local, and Pay Local, and just be local. But the reason that everyone is going after that is because of the story. When they can buy this thing from you, from New Ulm, with the story, perhaps a picture of you and your kids over the stove, whatever the case may be, and they're sending it to Aunt Martha out in Washington, it's all about that story. And the people that used to live in New Ulm or Southern Minnesota that now gets this, I mean, it is truly about that connection. And all of the surveys show they will pay way more. I guarantee it. We got a little gal that's making it out of goat soap. And again, she put her picture on it with her favorite nanny goat. And good Lord, now the goat's more famous than she is. And so it's just that story. So I would really, really encourage you and Brian and Jim to somehow figure out, I don't care if it's in your package or your box, whatever. And I can see Brian's laughing. So he's more than likely going to make me buy him lunch now. But truthfully, it's the story. And I know Holly's going, okay, you're talking too much and the time's up. Right?
Yeah, but I think it's important for everyone here to hear this.
So, Jared, nice job. I know my list ran out. So who, and a few people signed up. So who is up next? Holly, can you help?
David. We haven't heard from David Alimo yet.
Okay. David, the floor is yours.
All right, perfect. I just want you guys, I want to share my PowerPoint, and it's not letting me.
You're set as a co-host now, so you should be able to share your screen.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, we see it now.
All right, perfect. All right, so you guys are probably wondering who we are. Well, we're the future, and you won't know the future unless you plan for it. My name is David Alimo, and I'm the founder of Pursue Finance. And what we're trying to do at Pursue Finance is we're trying to help Gen Z understand financial literacy, and it varies. But pretty much we want them to understand the amount of money they have coming in, the amount of money they have coming out, and how to properly save their money. You might be wondering, why us? Well, nobody wants to help out Gen Z. And we're the fit for that. Why? Because we are them. All right, and then here are some of the stuff we specialize in. Basically, what we're doing is we're trying to help individuals understand monthly budgeting and how to properly checklist when it comes to budgeting, and basically understanding the art of money. All right, before I go into the prototype, I want to tell you guys a little story how this all started about. It all started in my room. I just purchased a vehicle and I realized that I had to come back to Mankato State University. And in order to come out here and survive, I had to figure out how to properly budget and manage my money. And during that time, I had no clue on how to do that. I tried finding apps, but they didn't really help out because it wasn't really categorized to my spending, you know? And this is what made me create this app. And pretty much right here is it's an interface which allows basically students to understand and see how much money they have coming in, how much they're spending monthly, and how much they're saving monthly. And this is wonderful for the Gen Z, because when I did my survey that I conducted on campus, a lot of students have been telling me, I'm like, how are you properly tracking your finances? And they tell me, oh, I go on my US Bank app, I go on my Wells Fargo app. But all they're seeing is just the amount of money they have in their account. That's all that they're seeing. They're not really seeing it categorized. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to allow them to see that in a wide span and a view. And this is one of the interfaces that we have on there that will allow them to see all their finances in one. And it gets even deeper. We have more features as well. And then we also, this will be like a main feature. It allows the students, the Gen Zs, to understand how much cash they have in their bank account and then how much they have within their credit card as well. So they'll be able to see that all in one little area. And then another wonderful area that we have is the transaction. They'll be able to see on a month-to-month basis how much they've been spending when it comes to shopping, how much they've been spending when it comes to ride shares, or even how much for groceries as well. And we think this is wonderful because, like I said earlier, it will allow them to see everything in one little area. And then this is one of our features as well, is budgeting. So let's say you have a total of $3,500. That's how much you have. It allows you to see every time you spend, it'll change. So as you can see here at the top right, it says you have $3,000 left. Why? Because you spent $500. And this is wonderful when it comes to, housing expenses. Let's say your budget is $600. Well, so far you've spent 50 of it. So it just allows you, to be on track so you don't overspend. And it just keeps everything nice and calm and collect, so you don't have to worry at all. And then we like this feature the most because it gives you just basically an overall summary on how much you spent for that month itself. And this is something that is within the first slide I showed you, but I just wanted to break it down because this is very important. It's cool. It just allows you to see how much you've been spending so far. And then we also have a interface as well within our platform, which is called Weekly Summary. So a lot of people understand that whenever they do look at their finances, they're looking at it in terms of months, when in reality, you should be looking at it in terms of week, because every week builds up. So if you're spending more and more every week, then the odds of you going broke is very high. So this is really nice. So it just tells you, like, you'll come up with your own little goal, and it'll tell you whether or not you made your goal. So for this instance, this person was able to reach their goals. And then if you don't reach your goals, it'll say you're without your budget. And we think this is really cool. It just allows you to stay tuned and really be in tune with your finances. And then another problem that students are having is that, you know, they're couples, there's couples out there, but they don't truly understand or know how to split certain things up. So what I've thought of, and Yvonne has been helping me out as well, is that why not create a couples joint account, right? Where the male and the female, they have their own separate accounts, but now they can create their own joint account when they can pay certain things off, such as their living expenses, food expenses, car expenses, and gift expenses as well. It's nice because then they don't really have to worry about fighting when it comes to money, because now they have an account together where they can go ahead and spend on things that they need to spend on. And then we also got a debt repayment plan, which is wonderful because a lot of students right now, you can go right now and ask a student, do you know how you're gonna be paying back your debt? Well, I don't know, because they're not focused on it right now. But if we can get students to go ahead and take a look at that now, then they'll be able to succeed long-term. This is also wonderful because as soon as students do graduate, they want to get a house, they want to get a car, or they want to get a higher credit limit. So this is a wonderful platform for them because now they can go ahead, use our tool and learn how to use that to help them win in the long term. So they're not always playing the guessing game. Now they got a true plan on how to attack what they're doing.
Thank you, David.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Give me 1 second.
Well, first and foremost, that was cool. So you just got the cool factor right there. I don't need my coffee now. That was super cool. So help me understand, is that already going?
So far I've launched my LLC, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just continuing to like conduct surveys, but the whole main issue is raising capital to build the platform itself. But other than that, like what I'm doing right now is I'm taking courses as well on how to, basically I'm doing a startup. So my whole thing is I just want to be in the game, but when I'm in the game, I want to last for a very long time. So that's kind of our main focus. And like I told you, we're a subscription-based platform. So we're trying to find like the medium point for, you know, Gen Z to pay, because, you know, we understand that they don't make a lot of money. So that's another like pinpoint that we're trying to figure out on how to do that when it comes to monthly payments, or, you know, or how we want to do it annually. So it's just like little stuff like that. But the main focus is going ahead and getting the platform set up via website.
Got it. Okay, one other quick question, and keep your answers brief so we can get them in, because I'm sure the audience is full of them.
Yeah.
So help me understand, because we've always heard junk in, junk out.
Yeah.
How do you prevent that?
What do you mean? You said junk in, junk out?
So are you expecting the user to input all of that information?
Ideally, that was the thought, but after conducting some research, nobody wants to put in information. Everybody wants it to make it easy as it is. So another thing we're trying to do is we're trying to create something to where they don't have to type anything in. They can just click a button and it'll be able to connect everything. Like, you know how you can go on certain apps and it'll allow you to connect your bank account information. Mm-hmm. That's something that we want to integrate into the website. And we also want to integrate pay stubs as well. Instead of having to use a third-party website to figure out your pay stubs, we'll just have that within our website. So you'll have your pay stub and you'll also be able to connect your bank account. And that's how we'll be able to
Fantastic.
Put all the data together. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any thoughts? Because I certainly don't want to just do it all.
Hi, David, I do have a suggestion for you. You can research into Digit. It's a fairly recent application, kind of
Yeah.
doing the same thing you are doing.
Yeah.
And they do it with a like simple click, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
where it extracts all your information from your bank account
Yeah.
and then just does everything else for you, and you just play around with it instead of
Thank
just
you.
inputting the data.
Can you say the name of that again?
Digit.
Digit. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep, no problem.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much. And again, Holly and Yvonne, you're going to have to help me. I don't want to leave anyone behind.
I believe that's everyone.
Tony, are you?
Yeah, am I able to do it? I didn't do the paragraph application, but I am interested in pitching an idea.
Is it okay? Can we put her in?
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, you got 5 minutes, Tony.
Sounds good. Hello, so my name is Tony Kong, and I am planning on innovating an app that helps people connect in the sports world, a faster way to connect with other athletes. So what brings me to this purpose of starting this business is I've always had a passion for sports. When I was an athlete, one of the main issues I came across was not having anybody to practice or play basketball with. As an athlete who was eager to enhance my skills, I was saddened and I felt alone. So thinking back to this hardship that I went through, I wanted to create something that would help people like me connect with other athletes. One major change to this aspect that would separate me from other apps like this is having a portion for children and parental control. So becoming a mom has changed my life forever. And one of the things that really excite me is being hopefully one day able to see her play all the sports that I love to play. Unfortunately, most parents have to wait until their child is 3 or up to even participate in sports. My daughter is 2, and she doesn't have any friends her age, so it would be nice to see her play sports with children her age, even if they're just running around. So this app will help children, parents, and adults socialize and hopefully grow bonds with other people that they wouldn't have. So this app will feature 2 sections, one for adults and then one for parents with children. Through this app, parents and adults can connect and find out where people are playing. So how this works is by being shown a map, and users can check in at a gym or outdoor court or whatever place they're at that time. And there would also be local chat rooms where people can discuss if there's anybody who is interested in playing that sport. Users can also add people and personally message them. Users can then eventually form teams and compete against other teams. Eventually, I would love to host competitions and camp events within the app. This would definitely bring fun and to fans and athletes in the community. I would also love to feature coaches and personal trainers in this app as well. So if users want to, they can book a session with trainers and coaches through our app. Partnership will be a big key part to this app. There's definitely room to grow, and this is just the beginning and idea stage of this app, but I'm definitely excited to see where this app business will take me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
Gotta leave everyone. I dropped a little note in chat for you. Great job, Tony. Great job,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Okay, Holly, did Yvonne just go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, she's
Okay. So I just want to reiterate, did we miss anyone?
Do we have feedback for Tony?
Well, yes, absolutely. So help me understand a little bit more on the, again, connecting athletes with athletes, sports. That is that age related?
Yes and no. So I'm planning to have like people can filter distance, age. So let's say for parent section, if they have, like, for instance, for me, if they have a 2-year-old and they only want their child to play with that age range, they can filter that to the age. Otherwise, for the adults, they can just play with anybody who's available, but they could definitely filter and
And
sort
so
it.
then would you guys be meeting up at neighborhood parks
Yeah.
or, okay.
Neighborhood parks, local gyms.
All that are closed about right
All
now.
that, yeah.
Well, I think that's an interesting idea. And again, I think it kind of goes back to where neighborhood kids used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of fallen away.
Yeah, falling away, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a fantastic idea. Again, and the YWCA was just in the paper, and so I'm kind of amazed at your idea on that. So in regards to an app, how would you market that?
I would definitely do social media marketing. I feel like social media now has become one of the biggest platforms. Using social media as TikTok, Facebook to kind of just market and see what the app is about. In terms of revenue, I was thinking maybe like a monthly subscription, and eventually people can form teams. So I was thinking maybe people would have to pay to form teams to compete in like, let's say, events and stuff.
Tony, I also think, this is Brian Machi from Lime Valley. You could consider advertising on that app as an additional revenue stream.
Yep.
What you'll find is that, you know, parents that are using that app would probably become less annoyed with advertisements that were very specific to, you know, things that they would actually need or use.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, and Brian stating was mentioning that, you know, about the old neighborhoods, for example, and that are whether it be our urban sprawl or our communities that have gotten larger and larger and larger, and where our schools are located, and how neighborhoods just aren't what they used to be. That the technology and growth and advancement that actually was probably the reason why some of those dynamics in neighborhoods are falling apart. You're actually going to introduce technology to bring them back
together. Yeah.
I just love that. I think that it's really, it's kind of full circle, you know.
Thank you.
Well, perfect. Any other thoughts from anyone? Okay. Well, with that said, again, I want to thank all of the folks that are on here to give feedback, and everyone else. Again, I think the feedback is really that's the important part that often entrepreneurs and inventors and folks like yourself, you just don't get enough of. And so thank you for taking the time to jump on. Let's somehow stay in touch. I don't know necessarily what that looks like. If you need help from, again, Brian Machi from Lime Valley, and Holly and Jim Jensen, just go onto the RCEF website, and you can sign up for free services, and you can have these people all day long. That's really the beauty, because we want to provide those services to help you move your needle, to move your ball, to help move your idea, and to help grow and foster that. So whether or not it's soap, another app, I think they're all fantastic ideas. And then what we're going to do is get together on Monday and actually put some thought into kind of the best, coolest idea. But by no means does that diminish any of you like Yvonne said, there are a lot of opportunities to put your idea in front of folks and actually have a lot of money on the line. So that will, because again, whether or not you're looking for it now or later, money is the key to get that stuff going. So pay attention. There's $1 million cups. There's just a lot of them out there. And so just, I can't encourage you enough to stay connected. Again, and we're very blessed to have these people on that are willing to give that feedback. I don't know if Holly's got any other closing thoughts, or Brian or Jim.
I do. I just put the website for RCF in the chat, but it's rcef.net, and the consulting services at RCF are free. So I wanted to add that as well. And just
Brian,
thank everyone for being on here today.
Sure. Brian, Jim, any other thoughts?
If nobody has anything, then just to add to the resources that RCEF has, I work with the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So first off, thank you guys for attending. It's been an absolute great event. Thanks for partnering with us, RCEF. We have one more event this evening. It's going on right now, Better Customer Service with the Better Business Bureau. I'm also going to put our Facebook page in chat. So in addition to what RCEF does, we have 1 million cups every Wednesday, and part of being a community and getting feedback, it's basically you pitch your company's your business, and you tell the community. It's like a very friendly Shark Tank. You talk about your idea for 5 minutes just like this, and you get a lot of friendly feedback, help, resources, marketing, legal advice, as much as the community has to offer. So definitely go on our page in CIE Mankato. And again, we have 1 million cups every Wednesday. It's at 8 a.m. and the link to attend is right there. So definitely take advantage of that as well.
Emmanuel, thank you so much for all of your help as well.
Absolutely.
Well, I think with that's the closing of that. I know we went over a little bit, so if you guys want to jump on to the other one that Emmanuel was just talking about, have at it. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.